I suppose sometimes in this House you put forward a piece of legislation and you're not sure as to how far it will go or what it will inspire in people, or will people will view it in a particular way, or will it become a political football, or are we all just playing games here? And then, notwithstanding the contributions of Senator Byrne and Senator Horkin, I find myself just humbled to be in a room listening to Senator Paul Gavin and Senator Lynn Ruane as to what they have had to say about this piece of legislation. And maybe it won't get very far. Maybe government won't afford it the respect I think it deserves. Maybe it'll fall to the next stage. Maybe it'll be amended to death. Maybe the House will fall before it gets any further. But at the same time, to be in a room to listen to what Senator Gavin has said about moving from the UK to Ireland and the necessity to buy books, and then to talk about the ideological reality of the choices that voters can make. And I suppose I am reflecting on myself as to what in God's name you and me are doing in different political parties is something that I'm reflecting upon. But it is about the power of the state to deliver equality. And you can't trust the market to deliver equality because it has no conscience. And you can't depend on the private pocket to deliver these things, which are fundamental state services that will lift people out of poverty. And then I listen to the real-life experience and the power of words that Lynn has used, that Senator Ruane has used, and her note of caution to people in this House is to speak about the real lived experience of those that we're trying to serve. Schools are not about boards of management. In fact, I venture to suggest, as a former teacher and a former principal, that schools aren't even about teachers. The best bit of advice I got when I became a school principal was to put the child at the centre of every decision that you make. And I took that to the extreme. At the end of a school day, I used to actually sit in their seats and see what they saw, and see how far away they were from the blackboard, as we used to have in those days, how far away they were from the window, how far away they were from the toilet, how cramped they actually were. And you begin to realise that the complaints that sometimes the children have in your classroom are real. They're not just complaining for the sake of it, because these are real experiences for them. You don't know what the experience of a child is if you're the teacher sitting at the teacher's desk. And just as Senator Ruane has said, the Board of Management runs the school, but the whole point of this educational exercise is that it should inspire people in kitchens and in sitting rooms across the lands to feel that the school is absolutely on their side. The school and the teacher is backing them every step of the way. The school and the teacher and the principal is singing completely off the same hymn sheet to inspire and to drive and to help the children, your child grow in a way that maybe you didn't get a chance to grow. And then there's an envelope and a request and an ask for a voluntary contribution because something has to be paid for, because at the end of the day the books have to balance. And we all live in the real world. I know we have to heat schools. I know they have to be lit. I know they have to function. But that is a broader question for the state, and not to humiliate and to eliminate any possible circumstance of humiliation that a child might feel. Because humiliation is not something that happens just on the day that you come home and say, or back into school and say, sorry, my mother wasn't able to, or my mother will get it when she can, or my dad will get it when we can, or my nanny will get it when she can. It sticks with you for life. It's not a temporary thing. It doesn't stick with you for a day. It doesn't stick with you for a week. You remember it for the rest of your life. You remember how you feel when you didn't have the money for the rest of your days. And then it gets passed on to the next generation. So I suppose what this bill has achieved, if it's achieved anything this evening, is at least we can all trade comments and trade experiences and talk maybe about the beauty of education and how we need to ensure that it's there for everybody and that it doesn't come with a price tag on it. And if there's any barrier whatsoever for somebody to engage in the school community, then it has to be gotten rid of. And if it costs €45 million to deliver on free education, or 100 million in terms of the school book scheme to deliver what Bernard was talking about, what a small price tag to pay. 100 million sounds nothing in the context of other conversations we're having about broadband and having about children's hospitals. 100 million What a small price. The cost of not doing it is bigger. The cost of humiliation and of shame is intergenerational and it lasts a lifetime. So I appreciate the government are not opposing the bill. I appreciate that governments have to make arguments, and civil servants are there to make arguments as to why things can't or shouldn't or mightn't be able to be done. I get all that. But I think maybe we've opened the conversation for all of us in our various different political parties to reassess, the value of education, of school life, of vision, of beauty, of love, of poetry, of all those things that we say that we believe in. And that when it comes to election time, we can prioritise the public good, the public need, the public service above the private tax cut, because I think that's what the children of Ireland need, I think that's what the families of Ireland need, and that if any child is ever to be humiliated, well, there's no price really that any of us in this House should ever pay or ever consider too costly than to eliminate the possibility of any child ever feeling or any parent ever feeling humiliation.
Thanks.